one of my best performing videos ever was saying the Frostworm was the worst unit in the game, and then CA buffed it, and now it's one of the best units in the game. So let's do it again, boys. Let's save the moonbird. The great moonbird of Grand Cathay is currently the worst unit in the entire game, and I am not just memeing to get views. I actually believe this because this thing sucks. Now, I did have it charge Tretch Craventail. That is a little unfair because he has 70 melee defense, but I'll prove my point in a second. The Great Moonbird has weird animations that can sometimes just miss infantry altogether, so I can't tell if it's purely Tretch's melee defense saving him or if some of these shots are just missing. I have tested this pretty extensively. I even tried using Great Moonbird on stream a couple times, and every time, even when I got something to route from other means and I had the Moonbird chase it, it wouldn't kill it. But we'll get to that when we get to that. The Great Moonbird is 1,600 gold. It is a very elite unit, tier 4, so it takes a long time to get up the buildings to get it. But it has only 40 armor, which makes it pretty squishy. Non-primary armor-piercing damage. And then fire resistance, missile resistance is kind of cute, but no ward save like some of its Phoenix cousins, no self-healing like some of its Phoenix cousin. Just a 3-time Vortex use. And that's about it. I guess it's fast, but I'll fast forward at this point so we can just get to it as Tretch completely kicks the crap out of the Moonbird. So let's take a little assessment as soon as the bird routes, which will take a very long time. But the Moonbird has gotten... Alright, so it's routed. Moonbird's gotten 160 damage value. Tretch got 1,400. Okay. So let's grab some other birds. So we can't just say, it's the bird model. It's not the Moonbird's fault. All birds are messed up. We'll grab 3 of its cousins. The Phoenixes of the High Elves. Flamespire Phoenix is significantly cheaper. Oh, hey, primary armor piercing. Arcane Phoenix is a little more expensive. Oh, hey, primary armor piercing. That's crazy. And then the Frostheart Phoenix is still a little cheaper. Hey, primary armor piercing. Arcane Phoenix has a little more armor. Frostheart Phoenix has a lot more armor. The Arcane and Flamespire Phoenix, though, have healing. So we get into a 3v1 with the Tretches. We do separate them out and get some 1v1s eventually. These two get in a bit of a 2v2, but the Frostheart Phoenix immediately pushes that Tretch out. Fighting various Tretches. Now, having your own healing is pretty significant when it comes to dealing with other things, but even before any healing has been popped, the Flamespire Phoenix has already gotten like 150% of the damage the other one got. The Arcane Phoenix has gotten double. And the Frostheart Phoenix, still struggling at 100, but time, there's still time. As the Flamespire Phoenix runs away, heals, then comes back to fight the Tretch again. So not everything can be blamed on the bird model is what I'm trying to say. These other birds are doing better than our Moonbird friend, even 2 that are cheaper than it, because the Flamespire Phoenix can just keep healing itself up. And also, you know, primary armor piercing. Armor piercing. Having armor piercing. Turns out it's pretty good. The Arcane Phoenix beats Tretch for only 250 more gold. The Flamespire Phoenix is doing fine. The Frostheart, I just let route. So that's that. All right, 160 gold value. 440 for the Flamespire, 150 for the Frostheart, and 780 for the Arcane Phoenix. So, yeah, only the Frostheart doing is bad. The Frostheart was a little tankier. All right, human boy, you're being stupid, human boy. You're being unfair, human boy. You're being a dumb butt, because we're going to stop swearing. You're being a dumb butt, human boy. Those are high elf units. They're the best units in the entire world. And of course they can be Tretch Craventail because they're OP. Even though the Flamespire Phoenix is cheaper and the Arcane Phoenix is a little more expensive, but it killed him outright, you can't expect them to be the same. Okay, let's go to the same roster. For 300 gold less, you can get the Celestial Lion. Celestial Lion has primary armor piercing, has 80 armor instead of 40. Still decent melee stats. And oh yeah, it has Fearsome Roar and Wounded Pride, so it gets buffs when its hit points are low, or just whenever it feels like it. So it has more utility than the other one in a duel. It can lower Tretch's leadership. It also has a higher charge bonus. So on the charge, it gets some really good damage out, beats up Tretch a ton, and then I try and use Fearsome Roar Just as Tretch's leadership is getting low, I thought I could maybe tear out him, but he starts to turn it around to me, so little premature on that debuff. And Tretch starts to get his bearings. Now that my charge is worn off, his 70 melee defense is coming into play here. Dun, 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 dun. All right, so we wait till it routed. Still got 471 value compared to 160. So on the same roster for 300 less gold, you can get a better duelist monster with better animations and no bird jank to deal with Tretch Craventail. But human boy, you're being unfair, human boy. The moonbird is not supposed to be a duelist, human boy. Fair. But entertain this, if you will. What if we go with dueling? Now, what if you say, human boy, you are being stupid? Clearly, the moonbird could duel better if its fire resistance came into play, which the Celestial Lion doesn't have. If its magic damage came into play against things like demons that have physical resistance, the lion does not have fire resistance like the moonbird, 40% fire resistance, so it should be very tanky to what these bloodthirsters have to offer. Its magic damage should get through those bloodthirsters, no problem at all, and we will not do a crappy little foot Tretch where the bird models are on display. We will do flying bloodthirsters so they are nice and big. Here, surely, the moonbird, great moonbird, will come into its own, because its 40 armor doesn't matter, the 80 armor of the Celestial Lion doesn't matter, because these bloodthirsters, these spooky, scary bloodthirsters have incredible armor piercing. They'll do just fine. So as these guys fight back and forth a little bit, the moonbird is tankier. It is taking longer to die, but our Celestial Lion friend also got a lot more damage out in his time, and now he has routed. Meanwhile, the moonbird is still fighting. It is tankier. I'll give you that. It's tankier. As it pecks away at the bloodthirster. Takes a lot longer to rout, but when it does, the damage value is very, very similar. Just took a lot longer to get that done. Celestial Lion still up a little bit on damage value, I believe. Let me select it. Yeah, just a little bit. Okay, still not a good duelist. And remember, Celestial Lion is 300 gold cheaper. Now, I feel like I gave the moonbird every advantage in that last 1v1. Again, fire damage made it tankier. It took 40% less fire damage from that bloodthirster. That's why it was so crazy tanky. It did magic damage, which got through the bloodthirster's physical resistance. The Celestial Lion didn't have that advantage. And still, the Celestial Lion did do more damage before routing. So now, human boy, enough with all of this dueling crap. The Great Moonbird is clearly here for its Vortex. One, its Vortex is really freaking hard to use. Do you know how hard it was for me to get a good shot with these things? Because you start it has a wind-up time, and then after the wind-up time, this thing stops dead, but you can't position it directly over something without clicking on it, so you have to time it right, which I was struggling with, but this is the best one I could get. But still, so, okay, you have a hard-to-use Vortex, but you can do it. Get a Vortex out, and these Celestial Lions in the meantime, I'm just going to get behind so I don't have to charge braced spearmen, because that's unfair. The moonbird's about to disrupt them with its Vortex. So I'm going for a rear charge with the guys. All right. Activate it and get into these guys as much as you can. It is a very small area, but we have gotten as many spearmen in the area as we can, so we still get good damage out with the Vortex, as centered as it's going to be with these guys. The Celestial Lions charge in. So we get that. Now my moonbirds finally get activated. They charge in there. With their 40 armor, they are actually more susceptible to the chopping axes of the Marauder champions than the Celestial Lions. So moonbirds that get stuck in melee combat with infantry get absolutely slaughtered. Their tankiness against the bloodthirsters does not hold up in melee. And the Lions still try and provide their leadership debuffs and whatever, but very well. You have gotten me, chatters. The Vortexes, I wait for everything to route at least once, and then we'll check their values. The Vortexes against infantry are doing better than the cheaper Celestial Lion. 237 versus the Spearman, 262 versus the Spearman. Huge difference for 300 more gold. For the elite infantry, 350 compared to 250. That's a pretty sizable difference. So for once, that is 1 point to the Moonbird over the Celestial Lion, which is 300 gold cheaper, which is better at dueling infantry, which is better at dueling large monsters, and doesn't have to finagle that Vortex to get it into elite infantry. But if it's cheap infantry, these two actually perform very similarly, even with a Vortex usage. But I would remind you that the Celestial Lion is just one monster that also happens to be on the same roster as the moonbird. It doesn't compare well to other things. Let's bring back the Flamespire Phoenix, a similar unit that has a similar model, similar stats, but primary armor piercing melee, which I will never let go. And this thing is cheaper. It has self-healing, but it also has its little fire poops. Now, how would those fire poops do against similar things? We saw how one Vortex did, and then the Vortex goes on a pretty decently long cooldown. Well, let's see how the fire poops do versus Marauder Spearman. Ah, instantly rout them, you say. That is aggressive. As the Flamespire Phoenix gets caught on its brother, it's going to fly over and throw some more poops down, but the damage is already done. The Marauder Spearman is routing. Wild. All right, let's try it versus Elite Infantry. Down the line, already a third and more. Damage off the Marauder Champions. Go up the other Marauder Champions as well. Just drop all the fire poops. And then we land. To do a little bit of chasing, a little bit of chicanery. So in that one, the Marauder Spearman is dead, and the Flamespire Phoenix didn't take any damage. And over here, the Marauder Champions took about half their HP. Flamespire Phoenix is going to rout. And I won't do the cycle charging and healing nonsense. We'll just get on with it. Versus Marauder Champions, 762 value. That is double what the moonbird got. And then 400, but taking no damage and killing the entire unit. It got almost double the value, but it was still completely alive at the end. For my grand finale, I will just rant at you while the moonbird fails. So, we have decided that this thing is a worse duelist than something on its roster for cheaper. We have decided it's not even that good as far as birds go, because birds on other rosters for cheaper do everything this thing wants to do, but better. The Flamespire Phoenix dueled against Tretch better. It killed elite infantry. It killed cheap infantry better. It has self-healing. It has armor piercing. The Great Moonbird is terrible, and it is priced very, very expensively. It is priced as much as about as much as the Fireborn for this one bird. And now I will have them fight the Warlord. The point of this final replay was to show you that when something routs, the Moonbird has jank. This could not have gone more perfectly to prove my point. This is a Warlord. This is not Tretch Craventail. He does not have charge defense versus large. He does not have anti-large. He has nothing like that. He just has 55 melee defense and horrible leadership. The Lion has landed in behind. The Lion is already going to get this guy to rout soon. I don't think I even used Fearsome Roar. There it is. Fearsome Roar just to get this guy to terror out. And I'm even going to lend the Fearsome Roar to the Moonbird. That's how generous I'm feeling. So, my Lion is chasing the Warlord. His Warlord. All right. Let's watch him hit. Hit. Yum, yum, yum. Knocks it over. Knocks it over. Some Footlord things, for sure. But he's getting good, consistent hits in. He's getting good, consistent hits in. Slowly but surely, he will kill that little ratty. And, you know, Footlords are tanky. They get knocked down on the ground. But still, I think the point is being proven by the difference in health bars right now. The Lion has killed the Warlord. Oh, knocks it over a couple times. Knocks it over a couple more times. This isn't saying killing Footlords is easy. This is saying the Moonbird sucks at it, because is the Moonbird losing to the Warlord? No, we finally get army losses. All right, Moonbird. Now, the Celestial Lion had the advantage of chasing down its Warlord and knocking him around a couple times. But let's see how you do, my friend. Let's see. Oh, you knocked him over by just walking at him. Okay, well, all right, okay. Get a hit on him. Nice job, nice job. Walk around. Walk around. Hit him a couple times, and then I think here comes the big thing. This happens to me with the Moonbird a lot. It happened to me on a live stream, and I yelled at it. Moonbird's walking up. It's another hit on the Warlord. That's going fine, doing great. I mean, the Celestial Line's been done for like 75 minutes, and you had to get army losses to take out your Warlord. You didn't even do it on your own, but whatever. Where is it? I know it's on this stretch of land. Ah, here it is. Nope. Dang it. I know he gets locked into animation at some point. That's what I'm trying to show. So I'm sorry for the caginess that doesn't lead to anything, but I'll get there. He flat out misses the Warlord. That also happened a lot. He'd start charge attacks that would go nowhere. Hits him again. Do the thing, you stupid bird. There it is. And now he just walks next to him. Is this unique to the Moonbird? No. But the Moonbird does it more than any other single entity I've ever seen. It's about as bad as the Brood Horror for doing this, or Nakari. Those are the three things. The Moonbird, Nakari, and the Brood Horror do this the most, where they just walk next to their target, and you cannot get them to swing at the Warlord. The Moonbird is the worst unit in the entire game. It is buggy, it is expensive, it is squishy, it does not do any damage, and it almost loses a melee fight with the Warlord. The Warlord got 480 value, the Moonbird has 3 less value than the Warlord next to it. 3! The Warlord is butt naked, and it can't even finish the job because it's too bugged out to realize that it's in a video game, and then it finally gets another hit in and maybe ends this video. The Moonbird is the worst thing ever. CA, please fix this abomination. It just sucks.
Subscribe, yes, yes.